Number 10. Vampirella. Created in 1969, Vampirella is a sinister seductress and has always been a fan favorite and a very popular cosplay. Originally from the planet Draculon, she travels to Earth to hunt down the dark remnants of her own race. Earth's vampires originate from Dracula, who left his homeworld centuries ago and became corrupted by a demonic entity. Her origin has since been retconned and become more complicated, but that's the gist of it. A vampire-inspired superheroine taking down evil demons. She has some awesome powers, including super hearing, perfect night vision, and super senses, allowing her to discern someone's emotional state through their scent. She has a powerful healing factor and is immortal. She's hypnotic and seductive, a skilled hand-to-hand fighter, and knows her way around firearms too. Number 9. Black Canary. First appearing in Flash Comics number 86 in 1947, Black Canary is a classic vigilante superhero who fights crime alongside Green Arrow, who she is usually romantically involved with. She has been a member of Birds of Prey and the Justice League, also known as Dina Drake or Dina Lance, depending on how confusing you find the DC universe. Initially, she was portrayed as a hand-to-hand fighter without superpowers who poses as a criminal to infiltrate gangs, but now she's a master martial artist, proficient in a million fighting styles, reserving her signature move, the Canary Cry, for only the most powerful enemies. It's a superpowered sonic scream that shatters glass and can even kill. The origin of the Canary Cry power has been retconned many times, but originally it was a magical power received as a curse from a wizard. Later is explained to be a metahuman ability. As of the New 52, her ability is the result of human experimentation by the leaders of Team 7. She is an expert motorcyclist, gymnast, and tactician. And fun fact about Black Canary, in 2016, DC Comics released a 3-track album called EP1 to promote her new story, in which she becomes the lead singer of a band that shares her name. You know, like the Archies. Hey gang, before I hit number 8, I need you guys to hit that like button. Thanks so much guys, it really helps us out. Number 8. HAWKGIRL. Female counterpart to the hero Hawkman, Shira Sanders first appeared in Flash Comics number 1 in 1940. She has been a member of the All-Star Squadron and an associate of the Justice Society of America. Centuries ago, she was Che-Ara, princess of ancient Egypt. Her and her lover, Prince Khufu, were killed by Hathset with a knife made of an alien material, metal. Now, Khufu and Che-Ara are doomed to find one another and fall in love in every reincarnation, only for Hathset to find them and murder them again. Her powers most notably include animal empathy, she can speak to birds, and improved strength, vision, and healing, as well as a vulnerability to deja vu. She sometimes experiences visions or memories from her past lives, which is especially troublesome when it happens in the middle of combat. Number 7. Invisible Woman. Also known as Susan Storm Richards, the Invisible Girl had her big debut in Fantastic Four number 1 in 1961. She has had a storied history, as the origins of the Fantastic Four have been revisited a few times. The team was given their powers when the 4 of them were mutated by cosmic rays testing an experimental starship. She later discovers new powers, including the ability to turn objects invisible and manipulate force fields. She eventually marries Dr. Reed and they end up having a baby. She goes on superhero maternity leave and Crystal of the Inhumans steps in, but this list has nothing to do with superhero children. She has the ability to manipulate color, create psionic force fields, and even travel through the air, projecting psionic force beneath her to create columns of energy traveling in a zigzag flight path. Sue's force fields are incredibly powerful and can even prevent telekinesis from passing through them. Fun facts about Sue: she's an expert sailor, carries a universal translator, and wears a micro-galaxy ring containing 74 inhabited worlds. Number 6. VIXEN. Also known as Mary McCabe, VIXEN first appeared in Action Comics in 1981. She grew up in a small village in Africa and as a child heard from her parents the legend of the Tantu Totem, a token that grants the wearer all the powers of the animal kingdom, if the powers are being used to protect the innocent. She eventually moves to America and begins a successful career as a fashion model, using her wealth to travel around the world. She eventually returns to Africa, stealing the totem back from her evil uncle, Mustafa Maksai. The Tantu Totem enables her to tap into the morphogenetic field of the earth, sometimes known as the Red. It is the force connecting all animal life and microorganisms in the universe, and tapping into it allows her to access incredible animal powers. She can mimic the abilities of any animal she can think of. VIXEN is also a skilled athlete, boxer, and hand-to-hand fighter. One drawback of her powers If she stays in animal form too long, she begins to become less human and more animal-like, seemingly losing control and risking giving in completely to animal behaviors. The full extent of her power over the Red is unknown, but once she cooperated with Animal Man and Tristis, and together they created an entire universe. It's rumored that VIXEN will be appearing in DC's Truth and Justice in 2021. Number 5. MERA. MERA first appeared in Aquaman number 11 in 1963, and she's not just the lady version of Aquaman. MERA hails from Dimension Aqua, where DC writers are sent as punishment for coming up with lame dimension names. A criminal named Liron seizes control of the kingdom, and she is banished, exiled off to the Earth dimension, where she meets Aquaman. Liron follows MERA, but working together with Aquaman, she manages to defeat him, and MERA opts to stay with Aquaman in Atlantis. She is an amphibian, possessing gills that allow underwater breathing. She has the power of hydrokinesis, allowing her to increase density of water and create water missiles from hard water. She has exceptional strength and durability, as well as telepathic communication with other aquatic peoples, but not with lesser marine life like Aquaman. No hitching a ride on a whale for MERA. Number 4. Raven. First appearing in DC Comics Presents number 26 in 1980, Raven was part of Teen Titans from the beginning. She was born a half-breed, the daughter of a human mother and a demon overlord father. Fearing for her future, Raven's mother takes her to Azarath, a peaceful reality where she's taught how to control her emotions in order to maintain control of her inherited demonic powers. When she learns that Trigon is coming to her dimension, she vows to stop him and approaches the Justice League, but they refuse her after the magical Zatanna senses her demonic parentage. Throughout her story, she has been possessed, become a spirit, and once had to find a new body. Raven has the ability to send out her soul self for spying and stuff, but it can also fight and use telekinesis. She can teleport, fly, and use psychokinesis to manipulate matter at the atomic level. She is also tele-empathetic, meaning she can feel the emotions of those around her and absorb others' pain to heal them, or heal herself through meditation. She can generate and manipulate darkness as well, usually in the form of a raven. It's been noted by her demon father Trigon that she only uses a small potential of her power, and if she released her inner demon, she could potentially reach near infinite power. Number 3. Starfire. Starfire comes from the planet Tamaran in the Vega system, where golden-skinned humanoids make up a passionate society driven more by emotion than by reason. Starfire, aka Princess Coriander, had an older sister that was the first in the line of succession, but this sister had a childhood illness that affected her abilities. She became known as Blackfire, and she fled her home after being denied her birthright, aligning herself with a fascist empire known as the Citadel. The Citadel returns and enslaves the homeworld, and eventually Starfire is forced to flee and finds her way to Earth, where she later joins the Teen Titans. Starfire can channel and project energy in the form of star bolts, and when using her abilities in full force, her eyes glow and her fiery hair appears to glow and flicker. She is super powerful, with a unique physiology allowing her to survive even in the cold vacuum of space. She can fly, absorb energy, self-sustain, and assimilate languages through touch. Number 2. Miss Martian. Also known as Megan Morse, she first appeared in Teen Titans Volume 3 in 2006. In the DC universe, there are two versions of Martians: green-skinned, peaceful philosophers, and white-skinned, vicious warriors. The story is, Megan's parents sent her on a rocket to the Vega system, home of the Citadel, to escape from the Martian Civil War. But secretly, she is actually a white Martian, captured by the US government. The exact details of her origin are debatable, but she did have a brief stint with the Teen Titans, not staying for very long. Similar to the Kryptonians, Martians have a different physiology and unique abilities. Miss Martian has a whole host of powers at her disposal, including telepathy, mind control, and telekinesis. She has a variety of visions, including X-ray, infrared, and microscopic. She has the usual super strength, super speed, can phase through walls, and even turn invisible. She has a regenerative healing factor and could potentially regenerate an entire body from one severed limb. And now, number 1, Zatanna. First appearing in Hawkman number 4 in 1964, Zatanna is an incredibly powerful member of the mystical Homo Magi, a subspecies of magic-wielding humans. The daughter of a famous magician, she grew up in a small house in New York, near the infamous Arkham Asylum. She became a successful illusionist before discovering her true powers while searching for her missing father. She meets quite a few heroes on this journey and returns to her career on the stage, occasionally assisting people in need with her powers. Zatanna has such a ridiculously comprehensive list of powers, there's no way I could list them all, but check this out. First of all, she can manipulate and create magical elements, anything from fire to water to light. She also has telekinesis teleportation, reality alteration, and every warlock's favorite, Eldritch Blast. She has the power of flight, force fields, healing, hypnosis. I could honestly go on forever. Fun facts about Zatanna: she speaks the words in reverse when she's casting a spell, and she's a vegetarian. Also, one of her ancestors is none other than Leonardo da Vinci. Coming in at number 10, Jessica Jones. Since her debut in Marvel's Alias #1, Jessica Jones has had a storied history and is one of Marvel's darker heroes. She obtained her powers in a car crash when her vehicle collided with a military convoy carrying radioactive chemicals. The experience killed her family but left her with superhuman strength and durability. She has gone by different names throughout her story arc, once known as Jewel and another time known as Nitrous. She is a skilled hand-to-hand fighter and a talented private investigator. Her powers include accelerated healing, flight, and even telepathic resistance due to her experiences with the Purple Man and some help from Jean Grey. Jessica is a fighter and is more powerful than she looks. Number 9, Black Widow. We meet Black Widow first in Tales of Suspense number 52 in 1964, where she meets Iron Man and inadvertently helps him defeat some Soviet agents. Formerly a KGB agent, she was trained by the Red Room, part of the Black Widow Ops program, in an effort to create the ultimate super spy. She eventually defects to America and later joins the Avengers. With a history over 50 years long, Black Widow's powers vary from story to story, but some of her most impressive powers include peak human strength, speed, and endurance. She is a master martial artist, weapons expert, disguise expert, talented hacker. Honestly, I could go on and on, but you get the idea. She's a super spy. Number 8, She-Hulk. Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk, is introduced in Savage She-Hulk #1 in 1980. As the cousin of Bruce Banner, Jennifer is shot by a mobster and then given a transfusion of Bruce Banner's blood to save her. She is later attacked a second time, and the danger activates the gamma radiation particles in her blood, causing her to transform into the Hulk. Meek and mousy in her human form, Jennifer enjoyed the newfound confidence of her Hulk form and quickly gained the same intelligence as her normal self even when transformed. She was in the first Secret Wars, temporary member of the Fantastic Four, and even joined the Avengers. Her powers include the usual gamma radiation package, strength, stamina, healing factor, and she is trained with Captain America and Gamora, and she has a law degree. Number 7, Storm. Also known as Aurora Monroe, we first meet Storm in Giant X-Men #1 in 1975. She is a descendant of an ancient line of African priestesses who all share the same white hair, blue eyes, and magical abilities. As a child, she survived a plane crash that destroyed her home and left her with severe claustrophobia after being trapped underneath some rubble. She served with the X-Men for years, eventually becoming their leader after Cyclops' departure. In Black Panther Volume 4, Storm marries the Black Panther and becomes the Queen of Wakanda, but none of the ladies on this list are defined by their relationship to a man. Storm is classified as an Omega level mutant, wielding mystical power drawn from her ancestors. She has the psionic ability to manipulate weather, from adjusting atmospheric pressure to creating a cooling mist on a hot day. She also boasts telepathic resistance, energy vision, teleportation, and limitless magical potential thanks to her bloodline. She is also multilingual and an expert gardener. Number 6, Wonder Woman. First appearing in All-Star Comics #8 in 1941, Wonder Woman is easily one of the most recognizable female heroes and has been around since the beginning. Also known as Princess Diana, she was born on Paradise Island, the first child ever born there. She has some classic superhero equipment, including indestructible bracelets, the lasso of truth, the royal tiara, and an invisible airplane. She is a founding member of the Justice League and has an impressive selection of powers, including superhuman strength, speed, durability, and flight. Number 5, Jean Grey. Also known as Marvel Girl, Jean Grey is one of Marvel's most complex heroes and first appeared in X-Men #1 in 1963. She witnessed the death of a young friend at age 10 and experienced her dying friend's thoughts and emotions, the tragedy activating her latent telepathic abilities. Professor X takes her under his wing and places psychic barriers in Jean's mind to protect her while she develops her powers. Jean goes on to bond with the ancient Phoenix Force and has an epic and expansive history with some of the X-Men's most compelling storylines ever. Jean goes from telekinesis rookie to superpowered pro throughout her story arc, with powers including memory alteration, mind control, mind possession, telepathic defense, psychic healing, astral projection, force fields, and more. Number 4, Captain Marvel. First appearing in Marvel Superheroes #13 in 19 1968, Carol Danvers joined the Air Force when she turned 18, quickly rising to the top of her class. After 10 years of killing it in the Air Force, she was appointed to Chief of Security for NASA. Her father was a Navy man, and her mother was a captain of the Cree Army named MERA. Growing up, Carol was unaware that she was a human-Cree hybrid. One day, she's kidnapped and taken out to an abandoned Cree outpost, where she's knocked into a damaged Cree machine called the Psyche Magnetron during a scuffle, and the machine leaves her genetic structure forever altered. She becomes a split personality hero, experiencing blackouts during which she becomes Miss Marvel, with powers of super strength, flight, and a seventh sense, giving her premonitions. The two personalities eventually are consolidated and she becomes her true self, an incredibly powerful member of Marvel's unique roster of heroes. Her powers include superhuman stamina, reflexes, energy absorption, and even self-sustenance. She also has a healing factor that would put Wolverine to shame. She basically doesn't age and is seemingly immortal. Number 3. Supergirl. Supergirl first appeared in Action Comics number 252 in 1959 and is known on Krypton as Kara Zor-El. She was sent to Earth by her father to save her life, like Superman. In the beginning, her arrival is confusing for Superman, who can't believe his eyes when he first sees a woman flying. She is, however, one of the most powerful heroes in the world and has been a member of the Justice League and the Red Lantern Corps. Supergirl is host to some epic larger-than-life storylines and has always been a fan favorite. Her powers include enhanced vision, including infrared, microscopic, and X-ray vision, invulnerability, and all the usual superhuman stuff, and some extras including flight, sound manipulation, force fields, and genius level intellect. It's been said that she sometimes seems more powerful than the Man of Steel himself. Number 2. Scarlet Witch. First appearing in X-Men number 4 in 1964, Wanda Maximoff was kidnapped as a child and experimented on. She once accidentally set a village on fire with her powers and was attacked by the angry villagers, one of whom called her a Scarlet Witch, and the name stuck. She was rescued from this situation by Magneto and recruited into his Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Destined to become a hero, she disagreed with Magneto's plan to kill the X-Men and eventually became an Avenger alongside Captain America and Hawkeye. She has the uncanny ability to generate hex bolts or hex spheres, manipulating energy fields to cause anything from momentum changes, molecular destabilization, force fields, or just deflecting attacks. Her hexes are especially useful in causing negative effects in the form of bad luck. Other powers include flight, teleportation, and powerful energy blasts. It's been said that Wanda is the nexus being of the Marvel Prime Universe, and it's that type of larger-than-life history that puts her near the top of this list. Okay, Nerd Squad, before we reveal our pick for number 1, take a second to smash that like button. But seriously, just click on it once. Number 1. Rogue. Also known as Anna Marie LeBeau, Rogue was first seen in Avengers Annual number 10 in 1981. She was born in a hippie commune in Mississippi. Her mother died when she was young, and this led to her becoming rebellious, running away from home and earning the nickname Rogue. In her youth, she develops a relationship with a boy named Cody, but after her first kiss, her mutant powers kick in, absorbing Cody's life force from the skin-to-skin contact and leaving him in a coma. She's unable to control this power at first and resolves to always wear body-concealing clothing to prevent skin contact. She is later recruited into the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants by Mystique, and in an intense battle against the X-Men, she absorbs the abilities and memories of Miss Marvel. Eventually, she begins to suffer from having Carol Danvers' memories inside her head, and she turns to Professor X for help. Over time, she earns the trust of the other members of the X-Men and becomes a valued member of the team. Rogue has the ability to absorb superpowers and memories of pretty much any being she comes into contact with. The transfer is usually temporary, lasting an amount of time relative to the duration of the skin contact, but in some cases, her power absorption is permanent, perhaps due to absorbing Miss Marvel's unique half-Kree DNA. In any case, it's this ability to absorb the powers and abilities of other beings that lands her at the number 1 spot on our list.
Number 10, Dust. To me, Dust is almost the physical embodiment of the Thanos snap, you know? Anyway, Sora Kadir, aka Dust, is a mutant whose abilities allow her to transform her body into, well, dust. She was born in Afghanistan and was sold into slavery. She displayed her powers when a slave trader tried to remove her kneecap, and she flayed him alive. Yes, she flayed him alive. Once the X-Men got knowledge of Soraya and her abilities, they went looking for her and brought her back to the academy. Since Dust is a sand morph, she is able to reform her body into a humanoid or some sort of sand form. In this form, she's most resistant to injury and she's difficult to detect telepathically. In this sandstorm form, she's able to hurt her enemies by scouring the flesh from their bones, as well as being able to enter their lungs, hurting their opponents from the inside.
Number 9. Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde's powers are some of the most useful ones around. She can phase through almost anything and as such can travel into some of the most secure locations in the world without any trouble. Not only that, but she can use her phasing abilities in a fight to become completely untouchable, phasing through her opponents or even making her opponents phase momentarily, only to become solid once again with something now lodged inside them. Kitty also received a power upgrade from an artifact known as the Black Vortex, which granted her more control over her powers while also increasing their strength to an extent.
Number 8. Magik. Illyana Rasputin, aka Magik, is the younger sister of Colossus and she's got a pretty long list of abilities. She's able to teleport, she can levitate, she has the power of necromancy, she can absorb souls, she's a master swordsman, she possesses a soul sword, and she can astral project. She's got a large skill set, as you can tell. Illyana was trapped in Limbo after being kidnapped by Velasco. During her time in Limbo, this dimension's version of Storm taught Illyana how to use spells and magic, and the cat is the one who taught her how to be a master swordsman that she is today. She also learned dark magic from Chthon, and he's like one of the most powerful demons in the Marvel Universe, so you know she got a good education from him. In a way. At one point, Illyana was even able to extract a piece of her soul to create the Soul Sword, and she used this to take over Limbo. She then returned to Earth and later learned that she was able to cover her body in Eldritch armor when she summons the Soul Sword. So not only is she a powerful sorcerer, but she also has magical armor to boot.
Number 7. Selene. Selene is known for being a powerful energy vampire and is something we don't really talk often enough about on this channel. She was originally known in the comics for being the Black Queen of the Hellfire Club and is an ancient immortal. So how does she stay looking so young? By feeding on the psychic energy of others. But Selene isn't just a vampire, she is also known for her telepathic and telekinetic skills. She has also been shown to demonstrate other powers over the years, like pyrokinesis, and has dabbled in magic as well. Not only that, but the energy she consumes can also be used to reinforce her physical strength and speed.
Number 6. Hope Summers. Basically, Hope Summers is mutant Jesus. Hope was the first mutant born after the Decimation, the event where Scarlet Witch wiped out all but 198 mutants. When Hope was born, there was a hunt for her. Some believed that she was the mutant messiah, and others believed that she was some sort of antichrist. It was discovered that Hope had the ability to enhance, activate, and mimic the powers of others, and these powers came in handy when she was trusted with the task of going to look for other mutants that they called lights. When finding these other mutants, Hope was able to calm them, stabilize their powers, and even awaken their abilities. On top of all this, it was also revealed that Hope was the new Phoenix, but this force was so unstable and unpredictable, Hope and Scarlet Witch joined forces, said no more Phoenix, and the Phoenix force just dispersed around the world, giving birth to new mutants and restoring the mutant population. So not only is Hope able to influence the X genes of the lights, she was also strong enough to become the new host of the Phoenix Force and then have the power to disperse it around the globe. She's OP. That's just my take on it. She's OP.
Number 5. Emma Frost. On the flip side of the coin from Selene, who we talked about earlier, we have Emma Frost, the White Queen. Emma is also known for being a very powerful telepath, and while she might not be as versatile as Selene, she doesn't need to feed on psychic energy like Selene does. Emma Frost is often referred to as the White Queen from her time as being a part of the Hellfire Club as well. She was the White Queen. See what I'm saying? Emma started out originally as a villain in the comics but didn't stay one for long, eventually reforming and even joining the X-Men team. She's an adept teacher and leader in addition to her powers. She's not only an immensely skilled telepath, but also possesses her diamond form, which makes her almost indestructible in battle. Almost.
Number 4. Rogue. Rogue is the adopted daughter of Mystique, so you already know that if Mystique likes her, there's gotta be something special about her. We covered this in our last collab together, but Mystique isn't really the best mom, so for her to willingly take on the responsibility of being a mom, it's gotta be for a good reason. She's given away too many kids already. Rogue is another super powerful mutant. She has the ability to absorb the life forces, abilities, personality, and other physical characteristics of others through touch. She also had superhuman strength during the period of time that she had absorbed Carol Danvers' powers and personality within her. Now just think about how OP that is. Not only does Rogue have the ability to take the powers of others, but in certain scenarios she's also able to tap into the stolen abilities and use them against her opponent. This happened a lot while she had Carol Danvers still inside her, because not only was she able to tap into her abilities, but Carol was also able to take over Rogue's body in a way when Rogue was unconscious or under a lot of stress. So that's pretty powerful if you ask me. Also, a little side fact for you. Mystique would have actually been Rogue's biological mom if the character's creator Chris Claremont hadn't left Marvel in 1991. So there you go.
Number 3. Storm. Storm is referred to as a goddess for a good reason. She is a mighty hero who wields influential power over the elements. While this doesn't seem to be a power that Thor often reaches for in the comics, despite also possessing that, Storm does not shy away from using her mutant gifts against her enemy. When fighting Storm, you'll want to watch out, as it is easy for her to call down a bolt of lightning to strike you at any point. As a child, she also possessed a fear of small spaces, known as claustrophobia. In the past, when this fear has been evoked, like when Doom encased her in a form-fitting metal shell, Storm has also been shown to tap into the full potential of her powers, creating storms massive enough to envelop the whole planet. Number 2. Rachel Summers. One of the most powerful and often underrated mutants of all is Rachel Summers. Rachel is the daughter of Scott Summers and Jean Grey from an alternate timeline. She was born with a small part of the Phoenix within her. Instead of her mother perishing after the X-Men's clash with the Shi'ar, Jean lived and married Scott. Together they had Rachel, and because this version of Jean was still bonded with the Phoenix Force at the time, a part of the cosmic entity lives on in Rachel. Aside from her connection to the Phoenix Force, which grants her awesome powers, enhancing both her telekinetic and telepathic powers as well, Rachel also possesses the ability of time manipulation. Her time manipulation powers are complex and can be useful in a variety of ways, such as when we see her use them in 2020's X Factor in issue 1, to chrono-skip through the time of an object belonging to North Star's sister, Aurora, in order to track her down and investigate her death.
Number 1. Jean Grey. Jean Grey is probably one of the most, or even the most powerful mutants, simply because of her ability to control the Phoenix Force. Going from being X-Men's weakest member to being its strongest, Marvel Girl died, and like a phoenix was reborn as well, Phoenix. In the Uncanny X-Men issues 101 to 108, also known as the Phoenix Saga, we watched as Jean became the powerful mutant Phoenix, and then in Uncanny X-Men 129 to 138, we saw her evolve into Dark Phoenix. The Phoenix Force is a sum of all life in the universe, and it takes hosts through time, so this thing is already pretty damn powerful. But things get cranked up a few notches when Phoenix is corrupted by evil, taking on the new Dark Phoenix persona. In this state, she consumes a star and 5 billion people on a nearby planet. Now if that doesn't scream all-powerful being, then I don't know, man. Ultimately, Jean's personality, buried way down there, manages to take control, and the Phoenix ends up dying by suicide. Again, even when she's not technically the all-powerful Phoenix, Jean's personality was strong enough to sort of take down the Phoenix from the inside. Also, after her death, she was in the white hot room. Death told Jean that because her spirit was most closely carved from the Phoenix, that she was destined to take on the Phoenix Force. Obviously, it takes a very strong person to be considered a perfect fit for the Phoenix.
Number 10. Spiderling. Also known as Anna Mae Parker, she first appeared in 2015 in Spider-Man's Renew Your Vows storyline as part of the Secret Wars event. She is the daughter of Peter Parker and Mary Jane. When the multiverse is destroyed by incursions and recreated as Battleworld, she finds herself living in a domain known as the Regency. This place is dominated by Regent, an evil mastermind on a mission to eliminate all superheroes and steal their powers. Growing up, she develops spider powers of her own, causing her parents to fear that she will one day be hunted. She actually is hunted down later and kidnapped by Venom, who recently escaped from prison. The epic confrontation that follows ends with Spider-Man bringing a burning building crashing down on Venom, presumably killing him. Ooh, Daddy Spider-Man is protective. Later in life, Anna confronts the villain Mole Man on her own while her parents are busy arguing about their daughter being a superhero. The Parker trio goes on to defeat the villain together, and Peter names her Spiderling. She has the same sense of responsibility as Peter, but with Mary Jane's headstrong attitude. Number 9. Spider-Girl. First appearing in one of Marvel's What If storylines, number 7, in 1978, Betty Brant was a newly hired employee at the Daily Bugle. Attending a scientific demonstration with her colleagues, she winds up in the same lab Peter Parker is visiting with his his classmates. A radioactive spider drops down and lands on Betty's hand, resulting in her being bit instead of Peter. Concerned for Betty, Peter convinces Jameson to let her take the day off, and he invites her out to dinner. Later, the two of them discover Betty has developed spider powers, and Pete inspires her to take up crime fighting so he can take some pictures and sell them to the Bugle. Jameson, of course, only uses the photos to start a smear campaign about Spider-Girl being a menace. The two later fail to stop a burglar, who goes on to kill Peter's Uncle Ben. Betty is horrified by this and resolves to abandon her identity as Spider-Girl. Hey guys, before I get on to the next one, please take a second to hit that like button. It really helps us out here at Top 10 Nerd. Number 8. Penny Parker. You might recognize her from the Spider-Verse film, but Penny actually made her debut in 2014 in Marvel's Edge of the Spider-Verse number 5. When she was 9 years old, her father died, the original pilot of the 900-pound spider suit. She learns from her Uncle Ben and Aunt May that she's the only one who can take his place, and allows herself to be bitten by the radioactive spider that powers half of the suit's CPU. 5 years later, Mysterio begins infecting the people of New York with a hallucinogenic gas, and it's Penny who shows up and dispatches him, later working alongside Daredevil. She also later joins the Spider Army, recruited by Peter Porker and Old Man Spider on a subway ride home. Penny is Japanese and a vegetarian. Her superpowered suit pays homage to classic mecha anime, and some of her classmates' names are actually references to popular shows. Number 7. Spider-Woman. First appearing in Marvel's Spotlight number 32 in 1977, Jessica Drew grew up in a small cottage with her father, Jonathan Drew. John found uranium in large amounts on the property and went on to build a research facility, performing controversial studies in genetics and cell regeneration. Eventually, little Jessica becomes poisoned from the constant uranium exposure, and John injects her with an untested serum made with the blood of several uncommon species of spiders, and you'll never guess what kind of powers she gets. He seals her in a genetic accelerator while she undergoes a transformation, and she stays in stasis for decades, her aging greatly slowed. Now, as a fully grown woman with hardly any life experience, she wastes no time getting into trouble. Her first romance ends in tragedy when she accidentally kills her boyfriend, and later is manipulated by Mentalo into joining Hydra. Hoping to mold her into an assassin, sends her off to assassinate Nick Fury. She refuses and fights back against her masters, eventually escaping and starting a new life as a friendly neighborhood bounty hunter, Spider-Woman. She later finds herself dubbed the Dark Angel of San Francisco, swinging around the city and solving crimes just like the real Spidey. Number 6. Spider-Gwen. Raised by George Stacy alone after her mother died, her free spirit and creativity often clashed with her father's rigid attitude. She became friends with Peter Parker and formed a band with her classmates known as the Mary Janes. After being bitten by a genetically engineered spider, she gained spider powers and became known as Spider-Woman. Peter Parker, desperate to be like his idol Spider-Woman, conducts an experiment on himself that turns him into a monstrous lizard-like beast, and Gwen winds up beating the snot out of him, resulting in his death. This leaves her branded a criminal by the city, and the guilt of Peter's death hangs heavy over her head. She doubles her efforts to fight crime, eventually having her identity uncovered by her father. At one point, she travels to another universe and meets a version of Peter Parker that became the Goblin, overwhelmed by rage at not being able to save his universe's version of Gwen Stacy. She attempts to recruit him into the Spider Army, but he refuses. Later, when she reveals that she's actually an alternate Gwen Stacy, he sacrifices himself to save her like he wishes he could have in his own dimension. Number 5. Silk. First appearing in Amazing Spider-Man Volume 3 in 2014, Cindy Moon was born with an eidetic memory. At a scientific demonstration, the radioactive spider that gave Peter Parker his powers also bit her in the ankle. The first use of her powers was actually when she got home and accidentally webbed up her parents. She is then taken away by Ezekiel Sims, who locks her away to protect her from Morlun, the devourer of totems. He's on an interdimensional mission to basically kill every single version of Spider-Man. Good luck, am I right? So yeah, she's locked away in this tower with a whole bunch of books and tapes and stuff, and she stays there willingly to keep herself safe. Spider-Man finds out about this at some point, and he comes along to rescue her. She improvises a sweet costume made of webs, and the two immediately begin an intimate relationship. You can only imagine what a mess that would make. They make a pretty good team though, and later go up against Electro together. She once even saved Spider-Man from being unmasked by the Black Cat on live television. Number 4. May Parker. May is the daughter of Mary Jane and Peter in a future alternate universe. She first appeared in What If Volume 2, number 105. When Peter Parker loses a leg in an intense battle against Green Goblin, Spidey decides to focus more on being a father and decides to keep his past from his daughter. Unfortunately, she develops her own spider powers similar to his at the age of 15. She has a few adventures of her own before her parents discover her dual identity, but Pete and Mary Jane are supportive of her crime-fighting passion. She later goes on to help S.H.I.E.L.D. battle against Carnage, and once encounters a clone of herself. She later assists the Web Warriors and the Superior Spider Army. Number 3. Spider Bitch. First appearing in Wolverine Volume 3, number 67 in 2008, she is technically Peter Parker's granddaughter, with her parents being Hawkeye and Tanya Parker. She's super badass, and I love her costume. She is from a future alternate reality where Kingpin rules over Hammer Falls, a future version of Las Vegas. She gathers up a team of heroes and attempts to take control of the area, but ends up being captured by Kingpin and set to be executed. Her father, Hawkeye, helps her to break free and is shocked when she ends up killing Kingpin in her rage and then attempts to kill Papa Hawkeye as well. She eventually embraces her legacy and becomes Spider-Girl, later recruited by Superior Spider-Man into the Spider Army. She ultimately survives in the end and returns to her home dimension. Number 2. Lady Spider. Appearing in Spider-Verse number 1 in 2014, May Riley's father kept numerous animals in his study, including a spider. One day, May opened up the cage, believing the spider to be upset about being held captive, and she got bit. It was actually just a normal spider. Later on in life, her father dies and she builds a super suit with mechanical arms and mechanical web shooters, becoming the Lady Spider. She has 3 university degrees and is the only female student in her field. She first used her suit to rescue the mayor from Electro, and when the 6 men of the Sinistry arrive, led by Green Goblin, she holds them off, forcing them to retreat. And now number 1. Spider-Man. In Marvel's What If number 23, released in 1980, we meet the amazing Spider-Man, also known as Aunt May. When her nephew Peter Parker forgets his lunch at home, a concerned May Parker rushes off to a science demonstration to make sure he gets it. He's a growing boy. There, she is bitten by a radioactive spider, which gave her spider powers. I'm serious. May first uses her power to earn some money for her family doing stunts, but later defeats the villain Leapfrog and becomes a real crime fighter. When the Master Weaver Karn shows up in her universe on his relentless hunt to kill anyone who possesses spider powers, she heroically surrenders herself to save her family. Also known as Spider Lady, or sometimes just Granny, May is later recruited into the Spider Army during the Spider-Geddon event, to battle against the Inheritors on the Marvel Prime universe. In the end, the evil Inheritors are defeated by transferring their consciousness into infant human babies, which May actually adopts and takes back to her universe. Truly your friendly neighborhood aunt.